Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. It's one of our first videos we made about travel. We wanted to make it because we felt that Miami usually gets bad rap. It's more like nightclub scene, stuff like that. But we wanted to show the nature and cool outdoor side that you could do in Miami and how you can also do it on a budget like we did. So in this video, we're just gonna show you the highlights of our trip, where we stayed, the places we went, how much it cost, and some secret spots that I think you'll really like and really enjoy. Okay, so just to give you a recap, we're basically going to Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. So I used to live there. It's in the north side of Miami. It's close to Hollywood or Hallandale Beach in a way. It's a really nice spot. There's actually tons of like super rich people there, so you see all these nice cars. There's actually a lot of restaurants that are still affordable, and there's a lot of just regular family people there as well. So it's more of like a family environment. There's not really a lot of bars or anything like that around. There's some restaurants, no crazy nightlife scene or anything like that. It's pretty chill, pretty low key, but it's very cool to see all these skyscrapers in the skyline, because there's just a Porsche building, a Bentley building, many just high skyscraper type condos that look really, really cool. And Sunny Isles Beach, the beach is beautiful and you can walk right over to it from where we stayed. Also, there's just a lot of nice stuff around. You can go north and then you're in Hollywood or Hallandale or even Fort Lauderdale if you want to go a little far north. There's a state park nearby called Oleta River State Park, which we went to. And then if you go south to Miami, it's not that far of a drive. The other nice thing, to get to Sunny Isles Beach, you could fly into Fort Lauderdale if you want. We flew into Miami, but that's only because Ira needed to go to Miami because she's from Guyana and I needed to meet her there. So otherwise, if we could have flew into Fort Lauderdale, we would have done that. It's easier. I did a ton of planning for this trip, like I always do. I'm always looking for the cheapest prices and the best deals. And so for this trip, I knew I wanted to stay in Miami. I was looking at North Bay Village. I was looking at Miami Beach. I was even kind of looking at Hallandale, but obviously Sunny Isles as well. So I was looking at all the sites. I was looking at Airbnb. I was very close to getting an Airbnb in North Bay Village, but decided not to because I actually found a better deal. So I went to Expedia and I found this place that was in Sunny Isles Beach. It was Miami Rentals was the name of the place. I'll give you a link to it in the description, but Mia Rentals it was called. They had a great price on their building. It was what I wanted something with a stove, and I wanted something with refrigerator so that Ira could cook and we could, buy food and save food, and we didn't have to go out to eat every night because we wanted to save money. And so that's exactly what we did. But this place was so nice. It was actually right where I used to live, right next to it, and I always used to walk by it. I never knew what it was, but apparently it's just older condominiums, and this company Mia Rentals rents them out. The place was nice enough. We went in July, so the prices per room I think were like $100. So the place we stayed at was pretty nice. I mean, it had one bedroom, a living room, and a kitchen. I think it was 500 square feet total, but it didn't have to be enormous for us. It had a balcony, which is nice. It had a fridge, it had a stove, it had a bed, it had a pull-out couch, it even had a cot. They gave you towels, like beach towels. They gave you all your toiletries. They even gave you beach chairs and an umbrella. And it had nice flat screen TV, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. So a lot of good value packed in there. The building, I mean, it's not the Ritz-Carlton, but if you look past that, you could tell that it was still cared for, managed properly. It had a pool, and the best part was it's literally a walk across the street to the beach. So for $100 a night around there, I mean, you couldn't really beat it. And the other main thing is it had parking. So really wanted parking. This had a parking lot in the back. It was free parking. By far, once I saw the price, saw the amenities, and saw the location, it was by far the best deal, even monetarily the cheapest compared to any other option I looked for on Expedia and on Airbnb. So miarentals.com. I'll put the link in the description below. Check them out. I will definitely recommend it, and I definitely recommend this spot, especially if you're like a family or a couple, or even if you're just single and you just want to chill out and you don't want to be in like crazy hustle bustle Miami. This is a very cool, very chill spot. All right, so now I want to cover some of the cost breakdown of this trip. Now, out of pocket, this trip cost us about $2,400, and we really did everything we want. Didn't feel like we sacrificed anything. So the way that we got this price was the biggest and most important thing I did was I got the Chase Sapphire credit card and the Capital One Venture card. And when you spend $4,000 each on those cards, you unlock all these bonus points. The bonus points are worth about $750 each when you use it towards travel. So because of these bonus points, I was able to get our flights for free. Our flights would have otherwise cost about $1,450, and the flights were actually a little bit higher because we booked them late. The other way that we saved money was we went in July, which I guess was the off season. So I used Expedia to book our apartment. Apartment cost about $1,300 for 10 days. And then I also used Rakuten to get cash back from Expedia. So we got about 10% cash back on that. The next thing I did to save money was I looked for the cheapest rental car possible, and it was by far the Hertz Tesla Model 3. Now for 10 days, this rental car cost us about $450. However, we got some extra perks, basically perk that lets you go through the Sun Pass tolls, a perk that lets you bring the car back with under 70% charge, and then you do still have to charge the vehicle up, so you do get charged for that. So the extra fees and taxes and tolls on the rental car came to another $269. For food, between going out to eat, Dominos, and other places, and then going to the grocery store, we spent $400 total. And for all the places we visited, parking, the beach, all that kind of stuff, the total came to about $80. So like I said, out of pocket, this trip cost us about $2,400. If you don't get a rental car, it'll be even cheaper. And if you're not getting 2 flights, it'll be even cheaper. Or if you're booking earlier, it'll be cheaper. Below, I have a link for the credit cards I used, the place we stayed, the Tesla rental car, and all the places we visited, so you could build up a similar itinerary for maximum savings. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the trip. First day when we landed, we both actually, I flew in from Guyana, I flew in from Pennsylvania. Cool enough, we arrived at pretty much the same time, so very fortunate for that. Miami airport, not too bad. Basically, you arrive there. Ira had to stay in customs for a little bit, but then once she got out, we got on the train. The train took us to the place to get the rental car. We got the rental car, and then we were on our way. I knew we were going to shoot this video. I needed to get a gimbal. I didn't get one in time before my trip, so I wanted the DJI gimbal. So we went to Wynwood, Miami, which is this very fancy artsy district, paintings all over every building, and very cool, very hip. There's a DJI store there, so we went into the DJI store. I picked up my gimbal there, and then that was it. You know, we were off to a great start. One of the problems though was I parked the Tesla. What they don't tell you is that when you get these Teslas, they give you what's called a valet card. So it's this key card, and I thought it was like a key fob, but it's not. I thought maybe I just walk away from the car and it'll lock. I had no idea how to lock the vehicle. So what I did was I put it in Sentry mode, then I go to unlock it, and I have no way of unlocking it. I thought that if I just had the key card in my pocket, I'd be able to unlock the vehicle. Not so much. Long story short, I had to call Hertz. Luckily, I was able to get in touch with the girl. She didn't tell me how to unlock the vehicle, but she said she could remotely unlock it. So she did remotely unlock it. I think I was charged $10 for that, which, like, thank God it wasn't more. But they did remotely unlock the vehicle, and then we got back on the road going where we needed to go. But that was the first little snafu we had on our trip. And the worst part is that it was super hot out, but what I realized is there's a way to open the door on the Tesla with that valet card. You have to put the card on the side pillar, and then it will open the door. And when you leave, you put the card on the side pillar again, and it'll lock the door. No one ever told us that, and you know, it cost me money. So now you know how to use it, and you could avoid that situation, because what happened with us is we just got panicked, and you know, it cost us money. But anyway, we got the DJI gimbal, we went to the DJI store, then it was time to drive to our Sunny Isles place that we were gonna stay. And since I lived in Sunny Isles, I knew where we were going, and I was very excited to go to this Russian grocery store, because Sunny Isles Beach has a big Russian population, but this Russian place called Matryoshka, they have a buffet there, and I don't know anything about Russian food, but anytime I go there, I would just look at what looked good and I'd get it and I'd buy it. So that's what we did. That was the first meal we got. We went to the Russian Matryoshka store. We got the buffet. We got all this different type of food, and it was really good. I even got this mineral water that was salty, and it was really good. But anyway, that was the first thing we did on day one. We also did go to the beach because it was nearby. We did go to the grocery store. We picked up some food. We picked up some chicken. We picked up some fruit. We picked up eggs, orange juice. It was just a great first day overall. Day two, one of the things that we wanted to do was drive around, and I wanted to go some places. So we went to Hollywood Beach, which is up the street. Hollywood Beach has a great little spot that I like to go to. It's on Surf Road. It's really chill, really cool, really quiet. So I really wanted to go up there. It's super beautiful. So that's what we did for that day. But we started off the day, Ira made really amazing eggs and plantains.
They were making very amazing breakfast. Thank you, baby.
And that was amazing food. It was actually the first time she cooked for me, and it was just so delicious. But Hollywood Beach, we drove up there, and it was really, really cool. We had to pay to park, but we checked out the boardwalk, the beginning of it. We checked out the beach. It was really nice. It was the first time Ira really saw South Florida, and I mean, it really is just so beautiful. There was just so many fruit trees everywhere, and funny enough, a lot of these trees are in Guyana, and I didn't even realize they were fruit trees until Ira pointed it out, but I think they're seaside grape trees. Everywhere we went, even parking lots had fruit trees. Showed Ira Hollywood Beach. We needed to go to charge the Tesla after that. It did rain a bit, so we went to the nearest Tesla charging station. That was our first experience charging the vehicle. And you know, charging these vehicles is a little bit of a drag because number one, you have to stop what you're doing for 30-40 minutes, and then you also have to make sure there's a spot open. So sometimes these charging stations are taken up, but this time where we went to, it was near a Best Buy. Nobody was there, so it was the first time charging the vehicle. So we messed around a little bit. We played some of the video games you could play in the car, like Mario Kart, version of Mario Kart. But then we went into PetSmart while the vehicle charged. Then we went home, and Ira cooked some amazing chicken curry, and that was the first time I've ever had it. And again, she just made it amazingly. And the other amazing thing about the place we stayed is they had all the things we needed. They had pots, pans, plates, all the cutlery, all the utensils, cutting boards. So really grateful for that. The only thing that we bought were some containers to store the food in after we were done eating. That was definitely a successful, beautiful day. We really enjoyed it. Day 3, we went back to Sunny Isles Beach, and I actually had to start the day off. Again, I was really excited. The thing is, I hadn't been back to Sunny Isles Beach in 7 years. So there were certain things that I just loved about the area that I needed to try. So, day 1, had to go to that Hollywood Beach area on Surf Road where I used to start my days. And then on day 3, I really needed to show Ira one of my favorite foods of all time, which was the Novolok's bagel from Einstein Bros Bagel. So there's no Einstein's Bros in Pennsylvania, or at least near me. And when I moved to Florida and I had the Novolok's bagel the first time, I was like, wow, this is a fantastic breakfast. It has protein, carbs, it has some vegetables, and it's delicious. So, I'm not going to say it's the healthiest thing in the world, but it's a great way to start your day. So took Ira to Einstein's Bros. It's right down the street. We could have walked, but I did drive because it was very hot. We got the Novolok's bagel. I loved it. She loved it. It was just an amazing way to start the day. The next thing we did for that day is we pretty much just chilled out in Sunny Isles Beach. We went to the beach again. We had our umbrella there. We just hung out at the beach, enjoyed the weather, enjoyed the ocean. Ira really liked the ocean. The ocean water was warm. I don't know if you're somebody that likes the cold ocean, but I like it warm. It was still refreshing. And these days were super hot. They were in the 90s, but it was just a very hot 90s. So you just sit outside and sweat, but we really loved it. For dinner we went to another one of my favorite spots that I had just been urging to have for a while, and that's called Pollo Tropical. So Pollo Tropical is really just cool spot, and it has really affordable food. We went there, we got chicken. I think Ira got got pork, and then we got a side of yuca fries, I believe. You know, all together, I forget what it came to, but their meals are really affordable. And again, it's right in Sunny Isles Beach, so we could have walked to it, but we drove there and we just took the food back to our place and ate. It was just a great day again. Day 4, I just really had the urge to go show Ira and to go back to some of these places that I remember when I lived there. Our plan for the day was to go to Oleta River State Park. So Oleta River State Park is this really cool state park that is right across the bridge from Sunny Isles Beach. If you look it up on the map, it's just this real green area. It's on the bay. It's really beautiful. And you can go there. It has a really cool place to go kayaking through the mangroves. And so that was our plan for the day. So we started the day off like we normally do. Ira made an amazing, beautiful breakfast with eggs and plantains. And we had our glasses of the Florida orange juice also from the grocery store. Is just delicious. It's not like any other orange juice I've ever had. So the orange juice was absolutely phenomenal every day. So we started the day off like that. Then we drove over to Oleta River State Park. We stopped at Dunkin' Donuts. I really wanted to get some coffee, but then we drove into the park. And one of the little issues we had while we were there is while the weather was hot, it was sporadically raining here and there'd sporadically be like thunderstorms here and there. Nothing crazy, but sort of just like sun showers. So we went to the park. Our plan was to go kayaking. We weren't able to go kayaking because anytime there's thunder, they won't rent you a kayak for another 30 minutes. So that kept happening. So unfortunately, we were unable to go kayaking, although that would have been fun. But anyway, to get into the park, it only costs $5. You get into the park for $5 and then you can stay there all day. What's cool is there's this one spot that I love and you just walk into it. It's got a picnic table under it. You're in the shaded area under these trees. You're right on the bay, and there's even like sort of a sandy little beach area. So we were the only ones there. This was on a weekday, but we were the only ones there. It was so private, so secluded. This spot was just absolutely beautiful with the water and the sand and the table and the trees. Again, surrounded by fruit trees. So you're in the shade, you could be out in the sun, and you're right on the bay. Oleta River was really cool. I did show Ira where you would kayak in the mangroves, you know, and we saw cool stuff. We saw little crabs, we saw the lizards that are walking all over the place. That was the main thing we did for that day. At night, what we wanted to do for dinner was we wanted to get Domino's pizza. So the Domino's pizza in Sunny Isles Beach is, I guess, some kind of hidden gem anomaly. Everybody around there talks about how good the Domino's is in Sunny Isles Beach. So we went, I think we got 2 pizzas. One was chicken wing. I think we also tried anchovies because I wanted Ira to try anchovies. Again, late night Domino's is something I always used to do when I lived there. So I wanted to just do that again. So we got the pizza. We got it back to the room. It was actually delicious. However, they did forget one ingredient. I believe it was ranch on my pizza. So I told them about it and they quickly said, okay, no problem, we'll give you a free pizza. So we got a voucher for a free pizza because they forgot the ranch. So you can't get better customer service than that. So that's how we ended our day, with some Domino's, which is right down the street. We actually did walk there to pick it up because it was close enough and it was at night. And walking around at night in Sunny Isles Beach is also really cool. You see all the buildings lit up. It's very safe. Everything is super lit up. You see the cops there patrolling. There's nothing to worry about in Sunny Isles Beach for the most part. And the cool thing is when we go to Domino's, you'll just walk past cars that are like hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's a Rolls Royce Cullinan. That car's like $500,000. It was parked right there while we got our pizza. But yeah, it was a nice, fun little adventure for the night. Day 5, I wanted to show Ira the Aventura Mall. So the Aventura Mall is, I believe, the largest mall in Florida, and it's certainly one of the largest malls in the United States also. There's a couple people, I think, that own all these malls. One of them is near the Washington, Reston, Virginia area, and this is, I believe, the same company that owns the Aventura Mall down in South Florida. But Aventura Mall is enormous. One of the coolest, nicest malls in the country. Every single store you could imagine is in there. It's really cool, really nice mall. Luckily, they had a lot of Tesla charging stations. We had to use this as an emergency charging station at some point. We just walked around the mall. I mean, neither of us are super big shoppers or anything, but I just wanted to show it to Ira. One of the things that I was actually surprised about is they had so many CBD shops in the mall. I'm not like a CBD person, but we thought that was was interesting. We just saw cars in the mall. We saw dogs in the mall. We went to the food court and there was some places to play ping pong in the back there. We played some ping pong and it was really nice. So going to the mall was nice. It was definitely a good time. When we left, we wanted to get some food. So I looked up if there was any Asian places around, and there was a place called Ohho Noodle House, and it was across the bridge, pretty much across the street from Oleta River State Park, right next to the Dunkin' Donuts that Ira had gone to. And so we went there. Ohho Noodle House was really nice. I had gotten some food that I never had before. Very delicious, very nice environment. Really enjoyed it. Certainly would recommend the Ohho Noodle House as a place to go. It wasn't super pricey, but it's not the cheapest place. It's kind of middle of the road, but for what you get, it's very delicious. That was pretty much it for our day 5. Day 6, we did a lot of things. Since coming down here, I knew I wanted to go to Pembroke State Park, and I wanted to go to Key Biscayne. I wanted to go to a couple other places along the way. So we knew that there was the Miami Seaquarium. Earlier in the week when we looked, it was I think $40 a person. When I looked the night before, they were running a special, so it was $20 a person. So on day 6, we went to the Miami Seaquarium and we went to the Pembroke State Park. We went to the Miami Seaquarium because going to Seaquarium's cool and it's on the way to Pembroke State Park. So Pembroke State Park is in Key Biscayne, and to go to Key Biscayne, you have to drive past the Miami Seaquarium. We started our day with our traditional breakfast, then we drove down. We took 95 all the way down to go to the Miami Seaquarium. So the Miami Seaquarium, the only way that they did sort of get me, which I didn't realize, is you had to pay $20 for parking. Had to pay an extra $20 for parking, but that was okay. We did get to see a lot of cool animals. There was some dolphins, there was seals, there was some manatees. We got to feed some stingrays. We saw some birds, really nice fish and lobsters and all the types of sea animals that you can imagine are pretty much there. Really enjoyed the Seaquarium. It wasn't as big as I thought. I think maybe like the Baltimore Aquarium might even be better from what I remember about that one. The Miami Seaquarium, I thought I would have seen more sharks and stuff, but you know, for $20 a person, it was okay. If you have kids, they'll enjoy it. Not a bad spot. What's cool, and this is a thing I love about Miami and South Florida and possibly Florida in general, is there's so many like livable little Easter egg spots you can find. So the Miami Seaquarium parking lot's really big, and if you go all the way in the right side of it, there's people there that if you go over the guardrails, you're on the bay, and then there's a little bit of a beach. So people were actually hanging out right there. They were cooking food. You could have stayed there and hung out there for the day if you wanted. I think that's cool. It's like a little Easter egg. If you just, you know, Miami's like an area that wants you to explore, and the more you explore, the more you find. And really, even what this trip was about was really exploring and also showing Ira all the places I explored when I lived down there. We did that. Then we went down to Pembroke State Park. Pembroke State Park is on Key Biscayne. So Key Biscayne is a little island that's past South Beach. It's pretty fancy. Pembroke State Park is just pretty much a beach that is not built up at all. It's $5 to get it. So we drove down there because we wanted a beautiful beach. That's what we found. So Pembroke State Park, beautiful, beautiful beach. The sea turtle eggs all marked off. So there were certain spots you couldn't go. They put pink ribbon around where the sea turtle eggs are. There's an old, beautiful lighthouse on Pembroke State Park. We had our umbrella and we just chilled out. You know, it was a little crowded, but it wasn't bad at all. Most people weren't even speaking English, which is fine with me, but everybody was chilling out, enjoying their day. The water was beautiful. There was no waves at all in the water. And I actually did see a couple manta rays jumping out of the water, which was cool. Ira fell asleep for a little bit, which was great. We just enjoyed the time there. I checked out the lighthouse. I took some video, and we really just stayed there for as long as we could. We had some food with us. Then it was time to head back home. On the way back, two funny things happened. We realized that as I was doing my research, one of the places I was looking at was North Bay Village at staying. And in my research, I found out that North Bay Village had food trucks that are there every Wednesday. They have a specific spot where they designate it for food trucks. So every Wednesday is Food Truck Wednesdays. This happened to be Wednesday. North Bay Village is in between, you know, it's on our way back home. So we decided decided to stop at North Bay Village at the food trucks. And then when we got there and we went to get out of the car, I realized that she forgot her sandals. So when we left Bill Baggs State Park, she must have took her sandals off outside the car, got in the car, and then just left her sandals on the ground. So she lost those. But luckily we had a backup pair. But we went to the food trucks. There was so many different food trucks there. Burgers, Mexican food, traditional food, desserts, all that kind of stuff. We got a burger and then we got a burrito. Ira said it was the best burrito she ever had, which it was very, very good. And then I had a burger. It was a good time. The food trucks have a real cool vibe. You're supporting small businesses. I got to check out North Bay Village. I wanted to check that out. I never really remember North Bay Village too much. We really enjoyed the food and we still had some leftovers. And then that was it. We just drove back home and we called it a night. So for day 7, you know, we had that really cool day previously where we kind of did a lot of stuff. So for day 7, we just sort of chilled out. We had our traditional breakfast, eggs, plantains, orange juice. Great way to start the day. And then we went to Sunny Isles Beach. We just walked across the street. We went to the Sunny Isles Beach Pier. So the pier is where we were staying. The pier wasn't too far from us. We just walked along the beach down to the pier. Since I had moved down there, they, you know, over time they had actually built a restaurant on the pier, which was pretty cool. But we walked on the pier. It was very, you know, bustling. There was kids, there was families, there's people fishing, little kids were catching fish. It was also funny because there was some people jumping off the pier. It says no jumping, but people were jumping off the pier. It was a pretty cool sight to see. We also did get to see some fish underneath. We thought they were sharks, but they were actually tarpons, I believe. Sunny Isles Beach Pier was very nice. We did stop to see some sights at some of the fancy hotels, like this snowman that was made out of all these crystals and rocks. If you're in Sunny Isles Beach, you definitely have to go to the pier. And the other cool thing is you get to see the skyline of Sunny Isles Beach in a really cool way. So once you go out towards the end of the pier, you can look back and see all the skyscrapers up and down the coast. And it's just a really nice, beautiful sight. And if you want to stop and get food, they have the bar/restaurant right there. Day 8 started our day off going back to Einstein's and getting another Novalox bagel. Ira loved it so much, and so did I. So we were really happy to go back and get that Novalox bagel. And our plan for this day was to actually go shooting. So another place that, you know, I had found, it's, I believe, Pembroke Gun Range. You go up the street a little bit to Pembroke Pines. It's a little bit of a drive, not too far. It's kind of near Hollywood or Hallandale. You just go up the highway a little bit. It's a shooting range. It's in an area that almost looks like a storage facility, but there's businesses there. So we drove up there. We were gonna go shooting. Ira had never gone shooting before. I was gonna show her what that's like, and that's a good spot to go because it's affordable enough, it's convenient enough. I think at some point Kim Kardashian went there. We went there. Unfortunately, we couldn't go because Ira didn't have her physical passport on her. So they make, you know, you have to show them your ID, and she did show them her ID, but then they asked for her passport and she actually didn't have her passport. So she left it at the apartment. She didn't have it physically on her. They wouldn't accept a picture. So unfortunately we couldn't go shooting, but we did take our shooting glasses and our own ear protection because we know that they'll charge you extra for that. So we figured we would just take that, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that. So that kind of just threw a little bit of a wrench in that plan for the day, but it was still okay. It was still a good trip. Then when we got home, we didn't know what to do for dinner. So we decided it would be a good time to use our free Domino's pizza. So I believe we got a free extra large pizza and we got like everything on it, and it was actually amazing. She really loved it. We highly recommend it. There was no issues at all. We just called them up. We said, hey, you know, we should have a free voucher for our pizza. I said, is there any limits? Like, can we get whatever we want? They pretty much said yes. So we did, went and picked it up, had it that night, and it was delicious. So what happened here? Why did we get free pizza?
Because they forgot an ingredient on our last pizza.
They forgot hot sauce.
Yep.
And we got a medium-sized pizza last time.
Yeah.
So the guy said, it just says free pizza. He's like, so you could get whatever you want. So we got the largest pizza we could. We got tons of toppings. Mm-hmm. It's good? Mm-hmm. Good job, Domino's. They know what they're doing in terms of customer service and satisfaction.
Very satisfied.
Day 9. This was pretty much our last day. We had to figure out what we were gonna do. I had pretty much done everything I wanted to do and showed Ira everything I wanted to show her. Visited all the spots that I had been wanting to go back to. While we were there, I told myself, I said, you know what? I lived here for a few years and I never really went to Fort Lauderdale. I don't know why. I think the main reason is because I would always drive up A1A. Pretty much you can't drive up A1A to Fort Lauderdale because there's a large channel, a large water channel that separates them. So to go to Fort Lauderdale, you have to take 95. So I said, what the heck? Let's go to Fort Lauderdale. I want to drive up the Fort Lauderdale strip. I want to go, all the way from the bottom of Fort Lauderdale all the way to the top, go through like Lauderdale by the sea, go up to Pompano Beach, and pretty much go as far as we can go until we decide we should turn around. That's what we did for the day. We drove into Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale was pretty cool. The very bottom of Fort Lauderdale on the strip reminded me of South Beach a little bit, except I think it looked a little bit more family friendly. It didn't seem as crazy and wild. It was still, bustling, but it just seemed like more of a family type environment. People are jogging, people are there on vacation, all that kind of stuff. Then we drove all the way up the coast. We saw all the different spots, Lauderdale by the sea, Pompano Beach, pretty much drove all the way as far as we could, and then we turned around. So Fort Lauderdale overall was nice. It reminded me a little bit of how I remember Sunny Isles, because when I was originally living in Sunny Isles, there wasn't tons of traffic. Now there was a lot more traffic because a lot more people moved down to South Florida and the Miami area. Fort Lauderdale was a little bit more open and less populated, which I really found refreshing. After that, we came back and we decided to go back onto the beach. We stayed on the beach until it got dark. What's nice about Sunny Isles Beach is the skyscrapers provide shade towards the late afternoon and end of the day. So you could basically be on the beach in the shade, and if you don't want to be in the shade, there's still spots you can lay in the sun, but having the shade is nice. You don't need the umbrella. So we stayed out there. We actually saw some people flying in the air with these parasails that were attached to like these go-karts with fans on the back of them. So these people were flying up in the air pretty high. That was pretty crazy to see. As things got darker and it started getting dark out, seeing all the skyscrapers lit up was really, really cool. There was also some thunderstorms happening, so you'd see the sky sort of flash with thunder and lightning. But then towards the very end of the night, once it got real dark, two funny things happened. The thunderstorm was happening. We saw a hermit crab pop up right from where we were sitting with our towels. It just popped out of the sand and started running around.
It's a hermit crab.
Holy crap. And then in the distance, I don't know what it was. It was either like a meteor or a comet, or I don't know, like some kind of rocket or something, but it had a tail and it was just floating over the ocean. And we kind of had a video of it. It was a little bit hard to capture on video, but I mean, the hermit crab and the thunder and that comet all happened in, a very short period of time. And we were just like really like blown away. We were like, wow, what the heck? This is like a crazy way to just end the trip. We did that, and then we really just enjoyed the rest of the night. We walked around a bit, admired some of the condos and how beautiful they are, and then we just came back home and called it a night and made sure we were ready for the next day. So for our last day, when we had to go home, it was a sad day. We hate like having to leave and go back to our countries. It's always tough. So what we did was we pretty much just had everything packed, had everything planned that we were going to do. We had our flight times. Our plan was we had to get the rental car back, I think by 12 o'clock. I think we were a little bit early, but we made sure we had enough charge to get back there. And that's where that charging perk by Hertz really kicks in, because even if you were at 100% and you had to drive down to Miami to drop the car off, you very well might be under 70%. So having that charging perk by Hertz 100% is recommended. So we dropped the car off. Everything went fine there. Then we went into the airport, we checked in, and then our plan was that we were going to pretty much stay in the airport until we both had to go on our flights. Luckily, we were able to hang out at a place, I think it was Aubon Pain, and we were able to just kind of sit there. I got like a Powerade, and we were able to just sit there and hang out until, you know, our flights were going to be leaving. So we hung out there, chilled, stayed there until it was time to leave, and then we had to go our separate ways. That was pretty much the end of our trip. Ira went back to Guyana. She had to stop in Panama, and yeah, I went back to Avoca. It was a fantastic trip. We had a really nice trip. We would certainly recommend going and doing what we did. I think our itinerary was pretty solid. We made a great adventure around what we did, and we did it in a very affordable way, using the credit card points and using the budget of just buying pizza or buying food at the grocery store and cooking and going to the state parks. You know, it didn't cost tons of money. So if you're looking for a nice, beautiful vacation, we totally recommend doing exactly what we did. And I highly encourage getting those credit cards as well. And yeah, we hope that you found this video helpful and you really like sort of were able to learn a couple things. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we look forward to making a lot more for you. Thanks for watching.